most of us, we probably went to a school where lockers were in the hallway. You had a locker. It really does a couple things. I think it makes those corridors really busy. It makes them loud. It makes them feel very institutional. And it restricts, if we go back a couple slides, that visibility and transparency from classroom to learning space. It makes that very hard to achieve, because it doesn't seem like a big deal, but if you take a 12-inch locker and you try to find 2,000 of them in your high school, that's a lot of wall area. That you need 2,000 feet of wall area to accommodate that. That blocks a lot of the ability to create visibility from classroom to corridor or classroom to collaboration space. So we're seeing a move to these locker bays. So there's an example of one. Another example, simple built-in bench. It really quiets down the corridors from being these chaotic, crazy spaces with locker doors slamming all the time. You can consider putting carpeting in them, which makes them more usable, makes them quieter, can better support the teaching and learning that's going on. This is up in Hudson, and they're actually doing double height lockers. So they're going to have a high school for 2,000 students with 1,500 lockers in it. We're going to see how that works out. It's under construction right now. We do have a plan where the other 500 go if they need them. But this came to light through working with students, and we were planning the school, and at the end of the school year, students came in and said, I haven't used my locker since I was a sophomore. Can you come can you take my lock off so I can get my deposit back? Because they just hadn't used their locker for years. It's electronic devices more than textbooks. These are students who are in a sport and they use their Phi-Ed locker. Kids don't wear jackets. Don't ask me why, but they don't wear jackets anymore, it seems like. And so the thought here is, why invest hundreds of thousands of dollars in lockers that kids are going to put a lock on and never use? So this will be an interesting one to see if this plays itself out, and this might be a really wise move moving forward to have less lockers. Libraries. Now we have a former library director here, is that right? Or are you librarian? Okay. Libraries are really changing, and you can probably speak to this better than I can. Libraries in a school environment mean something different to everybody. They were probably, for us, the place we went and learned Dewey Decimal and sat on wooden chairs and were yelled at because we were leaning back and we're going to break the legs off. Is that too stereotypical? I'm sorry. That was just me.
And I didn't have a bun.
I guess I was the only one getting yelled at in library. They're really becoming the hub of learning and research, and so they really just look different. The goal is still the same. They still are the place students go to explore and to learn and to pick up resources. But so many things are available. This is an example. Not a ton of books here. It's a place for students to collaborate. I will say I wouldn't pick this fabric personally, but it was one of the choices we had. But this is really about providing access to technology, providing access to spaces that students can collaborate, and giving them access to resources that they just don't have throughout the day. Another great example, you see a lot of flexible furniture, a lot of small group conference spaces. It's really less about books and more about providing space to support the collaboration and learning and research that happens in a library these days.
You can show them samples of the east and west carpeting in case they want to go that route.
The colors are coming back into vogue. That's the problem. The carpet itself has probably seen its better day, but the colors are actually coming back. Great example here, again, an elementary school library, lots of natural light, just a fun place to be and a fun place to learn. This is interesting. This was a project where we spent $10 million with a client putting an entire new academic wing on the south end of the school. Spent $250,000 on this library, and when we surveyed the students after the project was done, they said this was the best part of the whole project. And we didn't move a wall. It's color, it's technology, it was new carpeting, it was pushing the books to the perimeter, it was providing furniture that was appropriate for the way students wanted to collaborate and learn.
Did you do the North Fond du Lac High School?
We did not.
Okay, because you showed North Fond du Lac.
Yeah, we're doing an early childhood, their Friendship Learning Center project right now.
Okay.
Yep. So they have paid that referendum off, and then they went back to the voters and they supported another referendum to rebuild their elementary school now.
Yes.
I get a great case study, and it doesn't have to, not that $250,000 isn't a lot of money, don't get me wrong. In the scope of a $10 million investment compared to the $250, this was more impactful to many of those students.
You know, I'll say this, I don't know who's been to Badger, but the Badger Library, fabulous.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
it's really
Fabulous.
nice. That's why I asked about North Fond du Lac, because they did their library at the high school a couple of years ago, and really attractive space.
Yeah.
Are there any studies that say that kids learn better based on the fact that they got more window light and?
Yes, there are. Yep. We can provide that if you would like. Yeah, well, I'll make a note, we'll bring you some
So
studies.
So the parochial school kids at Grady or St. John's or Holy Angels have been in the same environment for the last 40 or 50 years. It seems as though students coming out of the parochial school programs are, do I want to say, come in with a higher grade level, grade point, when all said and done?
I don't know, I don't know how,
No.
if
What are you
that's
basing
true or
it
not.
on?
So
Yeah, what are you basing that on?
well, I guess when I look at kids that are involved in the athletic programs, the kids that are salutatorian or valedictorian, I often see that they came from a parochial school. So just the majority of the kids, I just asked if there was a study that's ever been done. I'm not saying that the public school kids are not smart, you know, coming out of Badger or Silverbrook, but has there ever been a study on that?
The natural light effects.
Well, to go back and look at the kids from Silverbrook
No.
or Badger.
No, and
Versus
then
the
we
parochial
surely
kids.
couldn't go back to saying that they were more successful because
Because
they
now you
didn't
have-
have natural light in their
you have new
classroom. That's a pretty
buildings.
long leap to
We
try to
have new
make.
buildings, so I'm just wondering whether the grade point has gone up at Silverbrook or Badger, or if it stayed the same.
If we're talking about natural lighting, it seems to me that the parochial schools in West Bend have classrooms with natural lighting.
Well, I believe there's natural lighting in all the buildings that are around here.
What's the point?
There's light coming from the windows in the high school.
I think the goal is, and we'll provide the studies, so you can see some of the impartial studies that have been done to suggest if students do better with light or not.
There's research that says natural light
Yep.
does improve student performance academically and
Does that
behavior.
research
and-
in Badger or Silverbrook that we have?
I'm just saying, from a medical standpoint, the medical research,
Mhm.
doctors will tell you. They've done tons of studies on this. Okay.
That's a doctor.
But I think the test scores in West Bend actually have gone down a little bit in the last couple of years, haven't they?
Well, I'm just not gonna fight the research. The research
Right,
says natural light.
Well, I'm
Anecdotal
talking about
versus
West Bend.
large case
I'm
studies.
talking about West Bend.
Well,
Well,
I
and
don't
do you
think it'd be
really-
any different in West Bend than it would be anywhere else.
I'm just talking about test scores in West Bend. But
We're
the
talking about learning environment though.
I mean, kids will learn what they want to learn. If kids want to learn, they're going to be the student that you expect the student to be. If they don't want to learn, obviously that's where they end up in the charter school, or they're the disruptive kids in class.
Well, also,
So kids that want to learn will learn.
No, and it's our responsibility to get every kid learning. And so in an environment that really nurtures like something for everybody, we need that. Because parochial school, if they're not getting it, well, that's fine. You don't have to, you can leave. Here, we educate every kid. Every student that comes through our doors, we educate them. We need that learning environment. My kids are in this district, and that's the kind of environment that I want my kids in.
And they deserve it.
Thank you.
I've had my kids go through this district too, and they came out excellent kids.
And it could be,
But if
You're
it can
a
be better,
support, you know.
Todd, shouldn't it be better? If studies show that this will make it easier for the child to learn, they'll learn more effectively, wouldn't you want that?
I guess it has to be proven.
The suggestion
And-
isn't
and
to blow
he'll-
up every school and to rebuild schools that have nothing but windows in them. I think the goal is to talk about if we make an investment and natural light is an option and we can make it available to as many spaces as possible, I think it's a reasonable goal to have if we're making that investment. It's the same reason I think when we build homes, we don't build them without windows. Natural light's better, it's appealing, people like it, it's a good thing, it's healthy.
It seems to me that there was a trend a while ago to take the natural light and to block it because of the energy.
There was.
And so we've had, in some of our schools, we've had the natural lighting blocked because of energy.
Yep, that was a very traditional, the 60s, 70s during the energy embargo and other eras, and we're moving back to that.
That's
So,
to where we were in the
Yep.
50s.
again, we'll bring the studies, people